went to the fair recently, and I had a lot of fun. But I won't lie to you, rides still terrify me. A lot of these cases have always haunted me, and reading more into them, they haunt me even more. I look at these titans we call rides, these monsters, for the longest time. My intrusive thoughts, they always get the better of me. What if I fell off the ride? What if someone else did? Can these tragedies be avoided? I'll try and answer these questions as we talk about a few instances of when something does go wrong. And these are some very, very... Orlando, Florida, if you didn't know, is actually the world's theme park capital. It's one of the most entertaining locations to visit, some say. I've never been myself, but if you ever do decide to go, it's said that Icon Park is regarded as a must-see attraction. When it first opened in 2015, it received a lot of love and praise. Icon Park became home to the world's tallest drop tower, but little did anyone know. This drop tower would be the end for Icon Park and its reputation. March 24th, 2022 was a cooler day in Orlando. Tyree Sampson, a 14-year-old City Garden Monastery student, had the pleasure of attending with his football squad. Participating in the Bad Boys, a nationally rated youth program based in St. Louis, Tyree took advantage of the opportunity. Later that fall, he would have attended East St. Louis High School. Throughout the day, Tyree was repeatedly refused from a variety of rides at Icon Park. This prevented him from enjoying the day fully, with his teammates, of course. As the day came to a close, his teammates were saving the best ride until last, the Orlando Freefall, the world's largest drop tower, standing at a whopping 400 feet in the air. This was a monster, and I mean a monster of a ride. Massive dropper, almost unsafe. Tyree was finally allowed to go for a ride. They allowed him to get on. After some tinkering with the seat, Tyree fit just fine. Tyree was anxious and thrilled as everyone appears to be in place and prepared. He was glad he could enjoy the ride with his team, but concerned that his seat doesn't feel as safe as the others. The ride began before any words were spoken, and as Tyree and the others approached the top of the ride, Tyree turned to his friends and asked, "I'm not sure, man. If I don't make it down safely, could you please tell my mama and daddy that I love them?" Without hesitation, the ride tilts forward 30 degrees and confronts the ground before free falling. Falling approximately 400 feet at a staggering 75 miles per hour, Tyree flies out of his seat, falls downhill, and lands face first on the concrete. Instant death. It's so obvious who was at fault here. The fact that they had to adjust the seat for Tyree was a red flag. The ride is not supposed to do that. But staff broke protocol, ignored the safety guidelines, and had Tyree sit in that damn seat. Tyree was not secured to the ride. He should not have been allowed on that ride. Staff at Icon Park changed the seat to accommodate Tyree. Tyree weighed over 300 pounds. There was a reason why he wasn't allowed on most rides. Safety precautions were in place, and those restrictions were ignored. Tyree Sampson was killed on impact. The event was handled poorly, and everything was captured on video. Yes, you can go find it right now. It's out there. It's fully on video. The whole aftermath, everything. Staff took too long and even hesitated to contact emergency services. People were pleading, taking their possessions away, and fleeing the situation so quickly that his own teammates did not even go there to support him. I understand the panic, but that was their brother and best friend. He was left to slowly die. The hit caused him to die quickly, so even if emergency services couldn't have done anything, it's always the thought that counts, right? The end of the story is not a positive one. Rather, an agreement was made. Tyree's mother agreed to a compensation with Icon Park for Tyree's death. There's a lot in this case that will bother you, It appeared that Icon Park did not care when this occurrence happened. This is an extremely unfortunate instance of staff negligence. May Tyree rest in peace. He deserved better. Icon Park should be ashamed. To this day, the ride is actually up and running. If I am to be corrected, let me know in the comments. But for my research, the Freefall was never taken down. It's back up and running as I'm speaking. Most likely kids are on it right now. But never forget Tyree. The ride was shut down for a period of time after the incident, though. I will add that. Thank you to Pinkulus as well. I got a lot of information from user Pinkulus on Reddit. They were very helpful on Reddit, just explaining the situation to people. So I could not have gotten all this information without them. The details are insane. Assembling the ride, there was an issue with translation from German to English for information on maintenance and quality control. The manufacturer would go bankrupt while building the Mindbender. The Mindbender staff in Canada did not get special inspection directives from the General Safety Services Division of Germany, where the ride was produced. Another example of human negligence. I mean, most of these mistakes, all mistakes, can be avoided. Yes, accidents happen. But when you look at these situations, you realize the flaws. Last year at the fair I went to, I saw screws flying off all the rides. That is not okay. It's eerie. For further context, the mall decommissioned back in January 30th of 2023. The ride was decommissioned much more before that. The Mindbender hasn't been active in years, and the ride does not exist anymore. Neither do the blueprints. The ride will never resurface in any way, shape, or form. In one way, that's a good thing, because the fact that the Mindbender was created without any good safety precautions in mind and was cheaply made. Human negligence is astonishing, and you'll notice that all these accidents, most of the time, happen not because they're freak accidents. And you'll know what I mean as we get deeper into the segments here. There's only one segment that could really be seen as a freak accident, but human negligence is so prominent in these accidents. I want you to just take that from this video at the very least. Human negligence. That is what kills people. These theme parks, rides, fairs, they're supposed to be fun, and yet we still can't seem to figure out how to make them safe. We just want something more extreme than the next, but safety is never the number one priority. But that's the thing, safety should be the number one priority. I'm a simple person. I want to create a community. I want to be a creator. I want this to be my life and my future. Creating art for YouTube is my hobby, and I've been editing for years, finally trying to be something by creating content that matters to me and to people. So all I ask is if you could just hit subscribe, because that's been my dream since I was a child, to create a community of people, to create hype around new videos I upload, to get the silver play button, maybe one day the gold play button. I have a deal that when I hit 1 million subscribers, I will buzz my head on a live stream. Speaking of live streams, please follow my account, Riseth Live. I'll be uploading commentary quickies there and gonna try to live stream soon. But before I transition to that channel for other content, this channel will be used mostly for some time. But eventually I will push you guys to check out that channel as well. Thank you so much for 3,000 subscribers. Did some of you guys return? Is the algorithm blessing me more and more? Did you guys have your bell notifications on? Let me know. And also, a message to the people that enjoy my content and enjoy this video. Should I open a Patreon? Would you guys like that? What would you want from me? If you were to give me money, what would you want extra? Let me know. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to me yap. Follow me on Instagram as well. And, I almost forgot. Use code Riseth on the Fortnite item shop. Yes, that's not a joke. I have a creator code. Use it. Please, I would love for you to use that. That would be amazing. But yeah, anyways, that's about it for me. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Enjoy the video and see you on the flip side. I'll talk more in the outro as well, but most of you skipped that, so I thought I'd put it in the middle here. All right, on with the video. This is one of those cases that simply terrifies me. I discovered it on YouTube probably over a decade ago. It was a channel covering this specific accident. I can't quite remember the name of the video, but I can remember the video showing off this exact image right here. The Sydney Ghost Train fire, located at Luna Park, Sydney in New South Wales, Australia, killed 7 people. 6 children and 1 adult were killed and burnt to death in this tragic fire. Supposedly, the reason why the fire started was due to electrical faults, but many theorize arson, caused by many known criminals at the time, could have been the culprit. This fire has been a mystery for decades. There's no true reason why the fire would have happened, what caused it, none of that. No human negligence, but rather a freak accident. Like I said earlier in the video, there are a few examples of freak accidents, and I believe this right here is one of them. The people on the ride were John Godson, his 2 children, Damien and Craig, and 4 Waverly College students, Jonathan Billings, Richard Carroll, Michael Johnson, and Seamus Riley. A fire broke out on the ride at around 10 p.m. on June 9th, 1979. Shortly after, these passengers boarded the ghost train. The fire erupted. Many emergency services were called to the scene, and it was actually thought that the people on the ride escaped the fire. But the very tragic discovery of all the bodies told another story.
You'll shiver and break. The ghost train.
This accident had no cause, had no negligence. It simply happened. It was not inherently hot that day. Australia does have an infamy for being extremely hot, but no, there was nothing abnormal except for one thing. This was the final picture of Damien Godson before he died on the ride. His mother does not know who took this picture, where it came from, or who the person in this outfit is. This picture, along with the disturbing events that transpired, makes for a very unsettling story, doesn't it? Now, I'm not going to talk about anything inherently supernatural, but of course, many people online and back then, when they see this picture and hear the context, do theorize that something was a little bit more off than it may seem. Like I said, supernatural. I'm not gonna say, oh, this is the devil, guys, but I will say it is disturbing to connect this picture with this event. Is it not? Just quite odd, the coincidence. The mother doesn't even know who took the picture. presumably the father, of course, but that doesn't matter. The point is, who is this person who seemingly vanished without a trace? No one ever saw this person at the park. It was so bizarre. Damien Godson looks happy. Whoever this guy is, whether it be a weird Australian thing, let me know in the comments below. But until someone confirms what's going on here, there's always going to be something so creepy and unsettling connected to this accident. This picture will go down in infamy as one of the most disturbing last photos ever taken. This is another accident that happened in Australia. In fact, it is considered the worst accident at an Australian theme park since the 1979 Sydney Ghost Train fire. The Thunder River Rapids ride is a ride at Dream World in Australia. It's pretty much on the level of Splash Mountain from what I saw. Actually, it's not exactly like Splash. It's actually more like that one river ride that I believe they have in Disneyland with like the bear. That is really crazy and in a raft, but it's a river ride. Which if you've never been in one, you're in a big raft on a conveyor belt with a lot of water. But it's really mostly controlled by the conveyor belt with the water kind of keeping the raft afloat. It's a weird mechanism, but it is cool. And I've been on quite a few of these kind of rides myself. They're really fun. Due to a water pump failure, the water levels dropped very quickly. This caused a raft of 6 people to be left stranded, unable to reach the unloading area. And in only about a minute or so later, another raft collided with the first raft. Both rafts pivoted upwards, driven by the movement of the conveyor belts. The second raft moved even further by the conveyor into a vertical position. This caused passengers to fall out or become trapped into the conveyor mechanism. No one knows what caused the water pump levels to fall, but could have it been prevented is the question. An emergency brake, since there are conveyor belts to control the rafts. But the thing is with this situation, I feel, is that because of the other riders coming in hot, I feel the reason why the tragedy happened is because the other riders collided. Obviously, that's why it happened, but what I'm trying to say is it happened and it was not preventable. It was going to happen no matter what. This led to fatal injuries to 4 of the passengers. The other 2 passengers, who were both children, were able to climb out of the raft onto nearby platforms. Thank God. The conveyor belt was shortly shut off by ride staff. Some paramedics needed therapy for the trauma they endured, saving the bodies from the mechanism. It went on to the early hours of the morning, and it took a long time to get all those bits and pieces out. Those people were in pain. That is probably one of the most brutal things I've heard. That is tragic, and I truly feel so sad thinking and imagining the harrowing moments. Being trapped in a conveyor belt is probably one of the worst ways to die. I can only imagine. The bodies were crushed and twisted. It was a very painful and tragic end to these people. There was no happy ending. Other than the 2 children surviving, a lot of people did die on this ride in only a matter of seconds. But in reality, it was an agonizing few minutes. I feel not only for the people that died and the children that witnessed this, but also the workers that worked tirelessly throughout the early hours of the day to get everything out. You know, we hear about these tragic theme park accidents, but you don't even think about the people that have to clean this shit up or have to collect the bodies or have to see that this even happened. It's just sad. There's nothing else to it. It's just sad. This case has disturbed me immensely more than any other case out there. For years, this has lived rent-free in my own mind. On June 21st, 2007, an atrocity would happen, permanently ruining the reputation of the once beloved Kentucky location, Six Flags. An atrocity that would happen by the incompetent employees running the ride known as the Superman. Unlike any other entry on this list, this accident 100% could have been prevented and avoided, and one individual would not have been traumatized for the rest of their life if it wasn't for hesitation by the staff working that day. The ride was going up like usual. The ride was just a simple dropper themed around Superman. Out of nowhere, as the ride was going up, a cable snapped. A big boom was heard. The cable quickly wrapped around section 3 of the ride, hitting all the passenger. The cable would then wrap around the legs of 13-year-old Caitlin Lassiter. In an instant, the ride was put at an e-brake, the big red button that should have been pressed 10 seconds prior. The cable snapped, and yet, instead of pressing that button, staff stared in shock, unsure of what to do, and in only 10 seconds, Caitlin's life changed forever. The protocol is to press the big red button if anything goes wrong, and obviously if a cable snaps on a ride, you would definitely want to press the big red button, the e-brake button. You would want to press that, but instead they hesitated. Staff called the higher-ups, and the higher-ups said, yes, press the goddamn button. It was so obvious what to do, yet staff was never prepared for it, because staff was just a bunch of kids, teenagers working a minimum wage job. God only knows how much they knew what they were doing. Their jobs are usually chill. But because of that negligence and lack of training and understanding and even lack of care, that hesitation changed Caitlin's life forever. Caitlin Lassiter's feet were amputated by the cable, completely torn off her ankles. Her feet were gone. She was lifeless, sitting in her seat as the ride slowly came down and her feet were missing. Quickly, she was took to the emergency room and she's now fully recovered. But imagine that poor girl now, as an adult, forever missing her feet because of human negligence. But I can't fully blame everybody. At the end of the day, these are accidents for a reason. Accidents happen. But this seals the deal for me. I will never go to Six Flags. Its reputation is stained, and I used to really want to go there. But once I heard this story, I just don't feel comfortable going to Six Flags. There's just something kind of eerie about a cable snapping on a dropper. I myself don't want to go on a dropper ever again. I already hated droppers to begin with, but there's 2 droppers on this video that caused the death of one person and the permanent injury of another. Caitlin has to live with that for the rest of her life. So, as much as I wish to say I'd love to go to Six Flags, I don't think it'll ever happen. I feel safe here. This case lives rent-free in my head. I'm not kidding when I say that, and I think about it a lot sometimes. I just hope that Caitlin is happy and is doing good. There's a reason why these accidents are tragic. It's because they're accidents. Accidents happen. I don't hold anything against anyone. I was just being expressive and showing my frustrations. But at the end of the day, you can't blame anybody. Accidents happen. Hey, thank you so much for 3,000 subscribers. This video is a little bit tough for me to make. I've been a little bit depressed, I won't lie to you. But I was really proud of my Lost Media video, and reading those comments and seeing my numbers go up really, really made me happy. And you guys put a smile on my face. You guys are making my dream possible. My dream since I was a child is 100,000 subscribers at the very least. Maybe one day 1 million. I love you guys. I'm going to say it. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. I don't know how to express my thanks to you. I don't know. I would love to talk to you guys, so follow me on Instagram. If, just shoot me a DM. I respond to everything, man. And also check out Riseth Live. I will probably live stream on this channel for a bit, but eventually I want to live stream there and upload more casual, chill content. This is main channel. Main channel's got those big boys like this one. Next up is Disturbing Things Volume 2. I'll get that out in about 2-3 weeks. I start college again pretty soon. Year 3, baby. You know how it is. But yeah, I mean, this is probably, again, one of my best vids. They just get better and better, man. My art is just evolving, and I want to keep creating. Let me know in the comments below if you have any suggestions for videos. I have some big plans, man. Some big plans y'all don't even know. It's hype. And if you're listening this far, let me know. Let me know if you watched the whole video. I commend you to watch a video in its entirety to hear what I have to say, because if you do, you can hear how much I truly appreciate you guys. And that's where I want to ask, if you're still here, let me know in the comments, should I open a Patreon? Would you guys be down to see more things? What would you want to see in a Patreon or a membership on the channel? What would you want to see? I don't want to cause an exclusivity crisis, but I feel like you guys just, if you want to support me, I want to have ways to show you how to support me, but also reward that support. Also, currently as it stands, only way you can support me is by subscribing, turning on bell notifications, and just checking in on this channel and making sure I upload once in a while. And then the other way is by using code RYZETH on the Fortnite item shop. Yes, code RYZETH on the Fortnite item shop. So yeah, I don't want to talk too much. We're almost about to get, 3 minutes? Wow. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. I have so much to say, but not enough time to say it. See you guys in the next one.